Do you hear that? Mara's voice cut through the low hum of the starship engines, sharp as a blade. Her fingers tapped the console, each press a staccato of impatience. Jaren glanced up, brow furrowed. Hear what? That sound. It's not music. Mara's eyes, dark and focused, scanned the holographic displays. It's a warning. Jaren leaned forward, peering at the stars outside the viewport. Colors shifted unnaturally, like ripples across water. A warning from who? The Deathworlders. Mara's lips curled into a half-smile that didn't reach her eyes. Legends say they don't make mistakes, and they don't forgive. Even seasoned humans felt it, the tension thick enough to choke on. The Deathworlders were the stuff of nightmares, feared across multiple star systems. Ships were vaporized before alarm signals could even finish transmitting. Colonies whispered their name in dread. And now, they were near. Jaren rubbed his jaw. Close enough to erase us in a heartbeat? Close enough that if we blink, we'll regret it. Mara's gaze hardened. Silence claimed the bridge, alive and tense. The void outside pulsed with a strange resonance, as if the universe itself had paused to watch. Mara's mind raced. Humans were reckless, yes, but brilliant in ways few others could predict. Adaptation, improvisation, audacity. They had survived impossible odds before. We survive, we endure, we fight back. The ship shuddered violently. Consoles flashed warnings as a tremor rolled through the deck. Something huge lurked just beyond sensors, unseen but unmistakable. They're hiding themselves. Jaren's voice was tight with awe. Whatever they are, it's not human tech. Mara's grin was feral. Doesn't matter. They don't think like us. That's our edge. Always has been. The Deathworlders were an enigma. Ships that warped physics, weapons that bent space, minds that calculated outcomes faster than artificial intelligences. Yet humans had a knack for turning the impossible into opportunity. Fear became fuel, chaos became strategy, and now it was their only weapon. Jaren shook his head. Improvisation won't save us if they've marked us for extinction. Mara's laughter was low, dangerous, echoing in the cramped bridge. Then we give them a reason to reconsider. And in that laugh there was challenge, defiance, a spark no algorithm could predict. A shadow moved across the viewport. Massive, fluid, alive. Light pulsed along its hull like veins. Impossible geometry shifting continuously. Then came the sound. Deep, resonant, almost musical in volume, vibrating through the metal hull. The ship trembled. Consoles flickered. Jaren's stomach knotted. Mara gripped the console. Time's short. 2 cycles, maybe less before they decide we're disposable. Jaren swallowed hard. We're not ready. Mara's eyes blazed. Then we get ready in 1. Humans always find a way. That's why we survive. That's why we thrive. Today, Deathworlders will learn something they didn't expect. The shadow lingered, vast and deliberate. Stars outside streaked like liquid silver as the void seemed to bend around it. Every alarm, every trembling sensor screamed the same truth. They were being measured, analyzed, judged. Yet Mara stood firm. Her defiance was human in its rawest form. Reckless, cunning, unrelenting. Jaren glanced at her. You really think we can fight them? Mara's grin cut sharp and human. We don't fight them. We outthink them, outlast them. Maybe scare the hell out of them first. The hum outside grew louder, vibrating through their bones. The countdown had begun. And somewhere in the void, the Deathworlders waited. Somewhere inside, humans dared. And legends. Legends were about to be written. The bridge lights flickered. As the ship trembled again, faint alarms wailing like distant screams, Mara's fingers danced across the controls, every movement precise, almost instinctive. But her mind raced ahead. She knew they were being watched, calculated, and every second wasted was a second closer to annihilation. Distance readings are all over the place, Jaren muttered, eyes glued to the fluctuating holograms. It's like Like the Deathworlders are everywhere and nowhere at once. Mara didn't answer immediately. Her eyes scanned the viewport, tracing the dark pulse that lingered just beyond sensor range. They are everywhere. That's the point. They don't strike from the front. They strike from the mind, from the pattern you didn't even see forming. Jaren swallowed, tension stiffening his jaw. So we're bait. Mara leaned back, her grin sharp, human, dangerous. No, we're the storm. Bait is passive. We're active. They haven't learned humans yet. They haven't learned us. The Deathworlder's shadow rippled across the void, a living, breathing enigma, its pulses lighting the stars in waves of disorienting brilliance. The hum thickened, vibrating inside the hull, inside their bones. Mara felt it too, a subtle warning threading through her nerves. Engine stabilizers at 30%, Jaren reported. We'll need full thrusters to dodge, if they actually attack. Dodge? Mara's laugh was short and sharp, almost bitter. Humans don't dodge. Humans confront. We improvise. We make the impossible happen. Her voice hardened. You've seen what we survived. We've turned impossible odds into history. Today's no different. The shadow shifted again, faster this time. Sensors went haywire, displays flashing indecipherable patterns. Jaren's hands flew over the console, but Mara's gaze never left the viewport. Think, observe, predict. Human thinking can't be copied. Wait, Jaren said, pointing. They're testing us. See the pulse? That wave, it's scanning, mapping the ship, reading our reactions. Mara nodded, tension coiling in her chest. Good. Let them see. Let them see humans reacting. Let them see unpredictability. Let them see courage in motion. She leaned closer to the controls. Prepare countermeasures. We can't hide our minds, but we can mislead them. Jaren's brow knit. You're talking about feeding them false patterns in real time. That's insane. We don't have the bandwidth for... Insane keeps humans alive, Mara interrupted, voice clipped, sharp. And if we fail loud. We fail with fire and chaos. At least they'll remember it. Outside, the ship shuddered violently. Lights flickered, hull panels groaned, and the hum of the Deathworlders' presence grew deafening. Jaren swallowed hard. They know we're human, don't they? Mara didn't answer immediately. Her eyes burned with fierce certainty. Yes, and that's our weapon. They know humans gamble. They know humans bleed. They don't know humans adapt in mid-leap. They don't know humans fight back with thinking, with intuition, with stubbornness. Jaren's gaze followed hers, lingering on the black shadow stretching across the stars. You really believe humans can outthink that? Mara's grin was half laugh, half warrior's warning. I know we can. We have to. Otherwise, we're gone. And I don't intend to disappear quietly. Not today. The hum intensified, vibrating through the walls, through their chest plates, through every nerve. Every crew member on the bridge felt the weight of it, the living presence of something ancient, precise, and utterly merciless. Then Mara leaned back, eyes glinting with audacity. Jaren, open the comms. Let's send them a message. One human signature. Bold, clear, reckless. Let them know we're awake. Let them know they've stumbled into the wrong corner of the galaxy. Jaren hesitated. Broadcasting directly to Deathworlders. That's... Exactly, Mara cut in. They'll track it, calculate it, assume it's predictable, then we move. And humans always move where no one expects. The shadow pulsed, a deep, resonant thrum, almost acknowledging the challenge. The void itself seemed to ripple as if the universe paused for a heartbeat. Mara's grin widened. Humans are stubborn, she whispered. Unpredictable, dangerous, bold. They don't obey rules. And today they fight back, not with fire alone, but with mind. A pulse of light shot across the viewport, a probing tendril of energy, mapping, measuring, testing. Mara leaned forward, voice low, deadly. It's time we show the galaxy what Deathworlders really mean when they underestimate humans. The ship lurched violently, alarms screaming. The countdown had begun, and somewhere in the depths of the void, a legend waited to be born. The bridge shuddered again, this time violently enough to send Jaren sprawling against the console. Sparks flickered across the panels, and the hum of the Deathworlder presence thickened, vibrating through metal and bone alike. Mara steadied herself, eyes blazing. Get up. Focus. This is what humans do under pressure. We don't break, we adapt. Jaren groaned, brushing dust from his shoulders. Adapt? They're reading our every move. We've never seen anything like this. Exactly. Mara's grin was sharp, defiant. And that's why they'll fail. Humans think sideways, diagonally, unpredictably. We turn fear into leverage, chaos into opportunity. Remember that. The viewport rippled. The Deathworlder's shadow loomed closer, massive, geometric, yet alive. Light pulsed along its hull in patterns that seemed to taunt the mind. Every sensor screamed its presence, yet they remained nearly untouchable, a living puzzle. They're scanning deeper now, Jaren said, fingers flying over the console. Every subsystem, every signal. They'll know our ship's limits before we even blink. Good, Mara said, voice low and dangerous. Then we'll give them a story they didn't predict. She flipped a switch, sending a false energy signature across the ship, decoy signals scattering like sparks into the void. Humans are storytellers, she said. Even in death, even in danger, we write legends. Today, we write loud. The Deathworlders reacted instantly. Tendrils of energy arced across space, probing, mapping, testing. But Mara had already anticipated the pattern. Countermeasures now, follow my lead. Jaren hesitated. We've never tested this in real combat. Mara's eyes burned. Neither have they. Humans don't wait for the perfect scenario. We make it perfect through action. The ship lurched, twisting in the void. Decoy signals sparked false readings, and the Deathworlder shadow recoiled, recalculating. Mara seized the moment. Engage thrusters! Vector 348! Now! The ship screamed through space, twisting, jerking, a dance of metal and light. Sensors flared with false readings. The Deathworlder responded, massive and calculating, but humans moved unpredictably, a blur of clever chaos. Jaren's jaw dropped. They're adjusting, but we're not where they expect us. Exactly, Mara said, leaning over the console. Humans survive because we think. We improvise, we gamble, and we win where others freeze. Her hands moved rapidly, guiding the ship through impossible maneuvers. Every rule they know has an exception, and we are the exception. The shadow pulsed again. Enormous, overwhelming, a threat that would have frozen any other species. But humans had defiance in their veins, courage threaded through their recklessness. Mara felt it, the thrill of danger, the intoxicating certainty that they were not yet beaten. A sharp alarm screamed. Hull breach! Starboard aft! Jaren shouted. The ship quaked violently. Mara's eyes narrowed. Not enough to stop us. Patch it, reroute power to shields, and keep moving. Humans don't surrender to metal and vacuum. We bend them, we break them, we survive them. Outside, the Deathworlder seemed to study them. Massive tendrils of energy mapping, probing, calculating. Yet every human action was unpredictable, every countermeasure bold. Mara laughed low, dangerous, full of audacity. They've met humans before, but never this breed. Jaren's hands shook on the controls, adrenaline sharpening his mind. I don't know if we're surviving this or provoking a storm we can't handle. Mara's gaze was steady, unwavering. We're provoking respect, Jaren. That's how humans win, by showing that we are fearless, unpredictable, alive. The universe remembers audacity. And today, we make it remember us. Another pulse from the Deathworlder rocked the ship, yet humans twisted, danced, evaded. The void seemed alive, bending around their movements, reacting to every instinctive decision, every daring improvisation. Mara felt it deep in her chest, a mixture of fear and exhilaration, the primal thrill of survival, the raw surge of audacity. Humans didn't merely live in the universe, they fought it, tamed it with thought and will. And in that moment, Mara knew one truth. The Deathworlders had underestimated them. They had seen humans as prey, but humans, clever, audacious, reckless humans, would not be prey. They would be a storm. The ship twisted, a flash of brilliance against the endless black. Mara's grin was a promise, a challenge. Somewhere in the void, the Deathworlders were learning a lesson that would be written in legends. Humans did not negotiate. Humans did not submit. Humans fought, and humanity's story was just beginning. The bridge hummed with controlled chaos. Every console flickered, alarms blaring and then dying only to flare again. Mara's gaze never wavered from the viewport. Outside, the Deathworlders' shadow writhed, massive and alien, pulsing with cold, calculated intelligence. Sensors indicate they're adapting, Jaren said, voice tight. Whatever decoys we're using, they're learning. Mara's jaw clenched, but her eyes gleamed with that human defiance sharp as a knife. Then we evolve faster. Humans survive because we don't just react. We anticipate. We improvise. They won't see what's coming next. A sharp vibration ran through the ship, knocking loose a few panels. The hum of the Deathworlder presence pressed against them, like an invisible hand tightening around their chests. Mara leaned forward, scanning every blinking light. Hull integrity holding? Just barely, Jaren said, sweat beading his brow. Starboard shields are at 30%. Mara's grin was feral. Then we don't stay still. Humans move when others panic. We act when others hesitate. That's what makes us dangerous. Outside, the Deathworlder pulsed again, probing, measuring. It wasn't just a ship. It was a thinking organism, calculating their every move with terrifying precision. But humans didn't just move in lines. Humans thrived in chaos, bending the rules the universe thought immutable. Energy spike on aft thrusters, Jaren called. They're trying to predict our trajectory. Good, Mara whispered, almost to herself. Then let's rewrite it. She slammed a sequence into the console, rerouting auxiliary power to engines and shields simultaneously. The ship jerked violently, twisting through space like a ribbon caught in a storm. Lights flashed, sparks flew. Jaren's hands trembled as he adjusted the vectors. They're reacting. They're faster than anything we've faced. Mara's grin widened, dangerous and human. We're faster too, faster in ways they can't calculate. Humans don't just fight physics. We fight with intuition. We fight with creativity. We fight with audacity. Another pulse, massive and resonant, slammed against the hull. The ship shuddered, alarms screaming. But Mara's eyes gleamed with exhilaration, not fear. Pain is temporary. Fear is temporary. Creativity and courage. That lasts. Humans last. Jaren swallowed, trying to match her calm. And if they crush us? Mara's laugh was low, dangerous. Then we make sure they pay for it first. Humans leave marks. Even when we fall, we leave legends behind. We're stubborn, reckless, bold, and we never disappear quietly. The Deathworlder paused, almost imperceptibly. A massive tendril of energy stretched outward, probing, testing, analyzing. Mara's fingers flew over the controls, sending bursts of false signals, twisting trajectories, confusing sensors. We're not prey. We're not a problem to be solved. We're the storm they didn't see coming. Jaren's jaw tightened. It's like they respect us, or they fear us. Mara's eyes sparkled with audacity. Fear, always fear. That's how humans survive. That's why we thrive. We make others pause, hesitate. We make impossible odds look like challenges. And then, we win. The ship twisted again, evading another pulse. The bridge shook, lights flickering, alarms screaming, but Mara's grin never faltered. Humans had survived worse. They had survived impossible odds, alien warlords, collapsing colonies and black holes. This was no different. Communication from Fleet Command, Jaren said suddenly. The console blinked. They're scared. They've never seen a Deathworlder behave like this against humans. Mara's grin widened, a flash of dangerous pride. Then they'll remember today. Let them see that humans do not kneel. Humans do not retreat. Humans fight. The shadow loomed closer, pulsing, massive and unyielding. Mara's heart raced, not with fear, but with exhilaration. Humans were alive in ways no other species could comprehend. The Deathworlders were precise, ruthless, terrifying. But humans were unpredictable, resilient, audacious, unstoppable in spirit. Jaren's voice was quiet. Mara, what if we've gone too far? Mara's eyes were steel. Then we've gone far enough. Humans only fail when we stop trying. And we never, ever stop. Not today. Not ever. Outside, the void pulsed with energy. The countdown was still ticking, measured not in minutes, but in moves, in decisions, in moments of daring. Mara leaned forward, fingers poised on the controls, heart sharp as a blade. Humans would not merely survive. Humans would make the Deathworlders rethink everything they knew. And somewhere in the infinite black, legends were beginning to stir. The bridge shook violently. Sparks rained across consoles as the ship twisted through the void, thrusters screaming, alarms blaring. Mara's hands were steady, her gaze unflinching. The Deathworlder loomed outside, massive, undulating, an alien intelligence testing every human instinct, every move, every hesitation. Hull integrity at 40%. Jaren shouted, sweat beading his forehead. Shields can't hold another direct hit. Mara leaned forward, eyes blazing with human audacity. Then we stop giving them direct hits. Humans survive because we fight smart, not safe. We make every strike count, every movement matter. We improvise. That's why we win where others fail. Jaren's fingers flew over the console, adjusting shields, rerouting power, calculating impossible vectors. They're anticipating our maneuvers now. We can't out-twist them forever. Mara grinned, sharp and dangerous. We don't out-twist them. We outthink them. Humans see patterns others miss. Humans turn fear into strategy. Watch and learn. She slammed a sequence into the console, triggering an audacious plan. Decoy drones erupted from the ship in every direction. Holographic doubles and false energy signatures scattering like sparks across the void. The Deathworlder paused, massive tendrils of energy probing, recalculating. Impressive, Jaren muttered, awe threading his voice. You really think they can't track all of this? They'll try, Mara said, voice low, dangerous. But humans adapt faster than any alien algorithm. The more they probe, the more mistakes they make. And mistakes are our weapons. The ship twisted sharply, diving toward the shadow's flank. The Deathworlder reacted, pulses of energy arcing through space to intercept, but Mara anticipated every reaction. Humans didn't just react. They predicted, gambled, and reshaped the battlefield. A warning light screamed. Energy surge on port side, Jaren shouted. They're reading our power flow and targeting it directly. Mara's grin widened. Perfect. Let them see us bleed. Let them think they've calculated the outcome. Then, strike where they least expect. She slammed another command. The ship veered violently, ejecting decoy cores and triggering energy flares, masking their true position. The Deathworlder hesitated, massive and calculating, then lunged at the decoys. Mara's ship zipped past, unseen, unpredictable, impossible to track. Jaren's jaw dropped. They fell for it. They actually fell for it. Mara's laugh was low, dangerous, alive with human pride. They're precise. They're fast. They're deadly. But they're not human. Humans gamble with purpose. Humans twist chaos into advantage. And today, we show them what that means. Outside, the Deathworlder pulsed, a living enigma, massive tendrils probing, scanning, calculating. Mara's fingers flew over the controls, rerouting auxiliary energy to weapon systems. Time to hit them where it hurts. If they think humans are prey, they're about to learn the opposite. The first strike fired. Energy beams lanced from the ship, hitting a section of the Deathworlder's hull. Sparks erupted, massive and unexpected. The alien entity recoiled, reassessing, adapting. But humans had already twisted their trajectory again. Jaren gasped. We actually hit them. Mara's grin was sharp, dangerous, human. Humans survive by turning the impossible into the inevitable. Fear is temporary. Action is eternal. Courage is contagious, and we are unstoppable when we refuse to quit. The Deathworlder pulsed again. Larger, more deliberate. Massive tendrils probing faster, smarter. Mara's eyes narrowed. They're learning, fine, then we escalate. Humans don't retreat. Humans don't negotiate when cornered. We dominate. We innovate. We survive. The ship twisted violently through space, every move audacious, impossible, unpredictable. Mara's heart raced, not with fear, but with exhilaration. The primal thrill of survival, the intoxicating edge of audacity. Humans weren't just surviving, they were asserting themselves, rewriting the rules in real time. Jaren's voice was a mixture of awe and disbelief. Mara, are we making them hesitate? Mara's grin cut across the chaos. Yes, humans do that. We make the universe pause, reconsider, respect. Today the Deathworlders are learning humans are not prey. Humans are a storm, and storms leave marks. Outside the void shimmered with energy pulses, massive and alien, but within the human spirit blazed, unpredictable, relentless, and alive. And somewhere in the endless black legends were being forged. One audacious human choice at a time. The ship groaned under the strain. Hull plates rattled, warning lights strobing like a heartbeat in chaos. Mara's hands flew over the controls, sweat slicking her palms, yet her gaze remained unflinching. Outside, the Deathworlder's shadow pulsed with deliberate menace, tendrils of energy arcing through the void like living lightning. Energy readings are spiking everywhere, Jaren shouted, voice tight. They're predicting our patterns faster than ever. If we misstep. Mara's grin was fierce, human, unstoppable. Then we misstep on purpose. Humans survive because we create opportunities in the chaos others fear. Every move they expect is a lie. Every hesitation we feign becomes advantage. A violent tremor ran through the ship. Sparks flew. Consoles shorted. The Deathworlder's tendrils struck with precision, testing, mapping, reading their every reaction. Mara leaned close to the viewport, eyes narrowing. It's learning, adapting, but it doesn't know this human. Jaren swallowed, voice trembling. I don't know how much longer we can hold it. Hull is at 20%. Shields at 15. We're almost done. Mara's gaze hardened. Then we finish. Humans survive by turning desperation into audacity. Fear is temporary. Courage endures. Creativity turns the tide. And we will not quit, not now, not ever. She slammed a sequence into the console, triggering the ship's final gambit. Holographic decoys burst outward. Energy pulses flashing in impossible patterns. The Deathworlder recoiled, tendrils twisting, trying to follow. Mara's ship twisted violently, diving through the void with audacious unpredictability. Look at that, Jaren gasped, awe threading his voice. They're confused. They're not keeping up. Mara's grin was sharp, dangerous, alive. Humans turn chaos into advantage. We do the impossible because we refuse to accept failure. We improvise, we gamble, we endure. Today, we remind the universe why humans survive. The Deathworlder pulsed again, larger, more deliberate, and Mara felt it. The weight of an intelligence calculating outcomes 1,000 steps ahead. Yet humans weren't predictable. Humans weren't algorithms. Humans gambled with intuition, with audacity, with spirit. A sudden tremor ripped through the ship. Hull breach starboard aft. We're losing pressure, Jaren shouted, panic threading his voice. Mara's hands were steady, almost terrifying in their precision. Patch it. Reroute power. Keep moving. Humans survive through action, not fear. We improvise even when it seems impossible. That's our gift. Outside, the Deathworlder twisted, pulses flaring. Mara's grin widened. They're learning, fine, then we escalate. Humans don't retreat. Humans don't surrender. We dominate. We innovate. And we survive because we refuse to quit. She activated the ship's auxiliary thrusters, spinning through impossible vectors, luring the Deathworlder toward the decoys. Pulses of energy exploded outward, striking false targets, leaving the alien intelligence chasing illusions while the human ship slipped unseen. Unpredictable. Jaren's voice shook with exhilaration. They're following the decoys. Mara cut him off, eyes blazing. Not following Jaren, we're leading. Humans survive by controlling the battlefield of the mind. We dictate the terms even when the odds are impossible. The void outside shimmered, massive pulses of alien energy streaking past, colliding with decoys, scattering into nothing. Mara's heart raced, a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Humans didn't merely endure, they challenged. They didn't hide, they provoked. Almost there, Mara whispered, voice low, sharp. Just one more move. One perfect twist, and we turn the hunt into the lesson. Humans are not prey. Humans are a storm. The Deathworlder paused, its tendrils twitching, massive and deliberate. Mara's ship twisted again, moving with impossible precision, unpredictability, audacity. Every system, every maneuver, every gamble was a message. Humans do not submit. Humans do not kneel. Humans survive where others perish. Jaren's voice was barely audible over the alarms. We might actually finish it, Mara interrupted, voice like fire. Humans endure, humans adapt, humans dominate. And today the Deathworlders learn what humans really are. The ship dove forward, twisting through the void in a final audacious maneuver. The Deathworlder hesitated, massive and calculating, then faltered. The impossible had become inevitable. Outside, the void pulsed, resonant and alive. But inside, the human spirit blazed brighter than ever. Clever, relentless, fearless, and somewhere in that infinite darkness, legends were being written, not about fear, not about surrender, but about humans who refused to quit. The void vibrated with raw energy, alive and immense. The Deathworlder's shadow pulsed, massive tendrils stretching, probing, calculating. But Mara's ship danced unpredictably through the chaos. Sparks flew along the hull. Alarms screamed. Every system strained to its limit. Hull integrity at 10%. Jaren shouted, white-knuckled. Shields are gone. We're barely holding. Mara's grin was sharp, fearless, unshakable. Then we don't hold, we move. Humans survive by action, by audacity, by refusing to quit. Every gamble we take, every twist we make, it's another lesson. And they're learning. The Deathworlder pulsed, massive and deliberate. Its tendrils arced toward them, energy crackling like a living storm. Every strike it launched was precise, perfect, designed to end their fight instantly. But humans didn't respond with predictability. They responded with ingenuity. Divert all remaining auxiliary power to thrusters, Mara commanded. Use the hull flex to feed the decoys. Make the final move count. Jaren's fingers flew, sweat slicking his palms. We're pushing the ship past safe limits. Mara's grin widened. Safe limits are for species that fail. Humans make impossible look routine. Humans endure when others would surrender. With a violent lurch, the ship twisted through the void, sliding along a trajectory no algorithm could predict. Holographic decoys flared, scattering pulses of light that mimicked the ship's energy signature. The Deathworlder lunged at the illusions, massive tendrils striking nothing but empty space. Mara's eyes glittered with audacity. This is it, she whispered. One perfect twist. One chance. And we turned the hunt into the story they'll never forget. The ship spun, pivoted, and surged toward the Deathworlder, energy flares exploding along its hull. The alien entity hesitated, massive and calculating as Mara activated the final auxiliary pulse. Energy lances shot outward, hitting weak points they had discovered in milliseconds, destabilizing the alien's projection field. Jaren's jaw dropped. We did it! The shield is failing. Mara's grin was feral. Humans survive by defiance, by turning chaos into advantage, by refusing to bow. Today we are storm, today we are impossible. The Deathworlder pulsed, massive and alive, then recoiled, tendrils of energy retracted, massive forms twisting in hesitation. The impossible had become inevitable. Humanity had not only survived, it had dominated through audacity, cunning, and sheer stubbornness. The ship rocked violently, but Mara's hands were steady. All systems stabilize. Hull breach patched? Mostly, Jaren panted, still shaking. We've done the impossible. Mara leaned back, breath coming in ragged waves, eyes shining. Humans always do. We survive, we endure. We fight when the odds are insane. We turn fear into strategy, chaos into advantage. That's why the universe remembers us. Outside, the Deathworlder pulsed one last time, massive, resonant, alive, and then withdrew into the void, leaving only echoes of its presence. Humanity had faced the unimaginable and survived. More than that, they had left a mark. A warning. A story. Jaren stared out at the stars, awe-threading every word. They'll remember us. Mara's grin was quiet, proud, human. They'll remember what humans are, clever, audacious, bold, stubborn beyond reason, fearless when it matters, resourceful, relentless, impossible to predict. And today we wrote a legend. The bridge was quiet except for the hum of the ship's engines, steady now, stable. Outside, the void stretched endlessly. But Mara didn't see emptiness. She saw possibilities, challenges, and the reflection of a species that refused to surrender. Legends speak of the day Deathworlders stopped playing nice. Mara said softly, voice almost reverent. They thought we were prey. They thought we were predictable. They thought we would fold. But humans, she smiled, sharp and radiant. Humans don't fold. Humans endure. Humans defy. Humans survive. And sometimes, humans win. Jaren let out a long, shaky laugh. We actually won. Mara's eyes glimmered, fierce and proud. No, Jaren, we proved humans win. We reminded the universe who we are. And this story, it's just the beginning. Outside, stars stretched into the void, glittering cold and silent. Inside, humanity burned bright, defiant, audacious, alive, and legends. Legends were born,